Welcome to the BSG Speed and Fab YouTube channel. My name is Chris. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're a returner, it's awesome to have you back. This is going to be part 3 of the 48 Ford chop. Last time we left off with doing some filler pieces, so off camera I actually ended up making this filler piece here. This one was kind of difficult since it was kind of a two-part piece, since I had to recreate this seam here, but it turned out pretty good in my opinion. Finished off the sides. Both sides are similar, and then also the front filler piece. So right now I'm actually fitting the roof. I kind of have it just kind of laid in place, just a single tack, just to kind of make sure the body lines look good. There's a little crease here that I need to fix. There's a dent in the roof, so I need to adjust that. But the plans is to set the front and tack it in place, and then work around the sides, make a filler piece here, and once both sides are created, then focus on this rear back area since this is going to be a larger section. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Well, it's the next day, and as you can see, things have changed. After I got done tacking this in place, I stepped back and I didn't like the way it was looking, mainly because of the panel that I would have had to make for this rear section. So when I made the initial cuts for this roof, you can see that in the front, I made it in a flat area, but when I cut it in the rear, I may have gone too far back to where it started curving down. So when this front area was tacked in place, the panel that I would have had to recreate for this rear section would have been a little too much, I think. I mean, it would have had to have a lot more complex curves on it. So I decided to cut the front off again and slide the panel back, and then I'll actually work this rear section. And then when I go to recreate the front panel, I think it will be a lot easier to create this one. It'll look a lot better than it would have been if I had to do the rear. All right, I'm a lot happier the way this turned out. I'm really glad I started over. Has a nice contour from the roof to the back. Panels lined up really good. So now I'm going to move on to these side filler pieces, get some panels made, and then I'll start working on the front. So what I ended up doing was I cut out a 4-inch wide strip of 18 gauge steel and then ran it through the English wheel just to give it a nice little contour to match the crown of the roof. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So on this one, I'm going to actually start in the middle and work out side to side evenly just to avoid any warpage. So I started working on these side filler pieces. So I got this side all bent up and actually laid down in place. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting and welding. Here it is, all welded in place. It's turned out damn good. So now I actually have to finish up the other side and we'll start working on the doors. I got the passenger side all welded in, really happy with it. Before I start working on the doors, I'm going to go around and do some additional welding throughout the cab, because in order to work on the doors, I'm going to have to remove these braces, and I want to keep these braces in place until I get pretty much all the welding done on the roof. That way it just helps support it some more. Then once that's done, I'll come back in, remove these braces, and then actually start working on the doors. So it's been a couple days since I've done any filming on this cab, but I've done quite a bit of work off camera. Last time you guys saw it, the roof was all tacked together. So I decided to go ahead and finish weld and start grinding. So let me show you where I'm at right now. So here we are. And damn, that's looking good. So there's still a couple spots I need to finish grinding. There's a couple low spots I need to do some hammer and dolly work. But overall, I'm really loving how it's turning out. Also went ahead and took out the bracing because I'm actually going to start working on the doors. So for the door frame, I actually already split the upper portion. Still need to prep the metal. I'm actually taking the section that was cut out for the lower pillar area, and this will be trimmed to fit as the filler piece in the door. So I'm going to go ahead and start prepping this metal, and then start fitting it up and tack it in place, and I'll check back in with you guys. So are you guys ready to see it? Or should I drag it out one more video? I'll show you guys. I still can't get over how well this turned out. 4-inch chop was the perfect amount. Let me show you how I ended up working the doors. So as you previously saw, I cut the section into twos, tacked this into place, then I tacked this into place, then I made this filler piece. This filler piece actually ended up being narrower, so I had to split it to make it fit properly. And this section wasn't as tall, so I ended up having to weld a little bit up top. So when I weld it, or actually grind it smooth, they'll blend right in. And then check out these body lines. Really happy with that. Over here. Very minimal body work is going to be needed on this cab. So this was definitely a fun project. This is actually going to end the series on the chop top. Obviously there's a lot more work to do, but I'm not going to bore you guys with a bunch of grinding and the little body work. But I really hope these videos at least help you in if you decide to do any chops in the future, whether it's F1 cab or any other similar older truck cabs. Like I said, I really enjoyed this project. I'm super stoked on how it turned out, especially for my first chop. I still have to give a shout out to Lone Wolf Chop Rods. Like I said previously, he did give me a lot of pointers on how to perform this chop. But now that this is done, I'm going to actually get back to working on the frame and get this chassis as a roller. So as always, I appreciate you guys checking these videos out. I'll see you next time.